If you're trying to buy iconic Manhattan real estate in 2026 and you want to do it without overpaying, there is one building on Fifth Avenue right now where the data is pointing to a very interesting window. And most people are completely missing it. Not because the building is a secret. Everyone knows Olympic Tower. But because most buyers are looking at asking prices and walking away. What they're not looking at is where deals are actually getting done. And that gap between what sellers are asking and what buyers are paying is exactly where the opportunity lives. Before we get into the numbers, let me give you a quick picture of what this building actually is. Olympic Tower sits at 641 Fifth Avenue, right across from St. Patrick's Cathedral. It was completed in 1976 and was one of the first mixed-use luxury towers ever built in New York City. It has retail at the base, offices in the middle, and residential condominiums on the upper floors. The apartments here are not small. We're talking about floor plans that range from around 1,200 square feet all the way up to full-floor residences. The views are iconic. The service is white glove. And the location on Fifth Avenue in Midtown Manhattan is simply irreplaceable. You cannot build this building again. The land, the address, the height, the views, none of it can be replicated today. Now let's look at what the market has actually done over the last 10 years. Back in 2015, the average closed sale in this building was happening at around $2,438 per square foot. Then the market corrected. By 2020, that average had dropped to about $1,424 per square foot. That is a 42% decline from peak. Since then, values have stabilized and partially recovered. Today, the average closed sale is sitting around $1,829 per square foot. The building did not fall apart. The views are there, the address did not change. What changed was the price. And for a buyer paying attention, that matters a lot. Here's where it gets really interesting. When you look at the last 2 years of actual closed sales, almost everything is happening below $2,000 per square foot. But if you look at the current asking prices, many sellers are still holding out for numbers well above that line. What does that mean for you as a buyer? It means you have leverage. Real leverage. There are apartments in this building that have been sitting on the market for over 1,000 days. Some for 1,500 days. A few for even longer. These are sellers who have started at one price and have been slowly, painfully adjusting towards reality. When you come in with a clean offer anchored to where the market is actually closing, you're not lowballing. You're speaking the language the data has been speaking for 2 years. Now here's the layer that makes this even more compelling for an investor. It is not just about buying at a stabilized price. It is about what that apartment can generate the moment you own it. The rental market in Olympic Tower has been quietly breaking records. Standard units are hitting $12,000 a month. Corner apartments, the bigger premium lines, are consistently renting between $13,500 and $16,000 a month. Those are numbers that were almost unheard of here just 5 years ago. So you're not just buying a piece of Fifth Avenue history at a price well below the 2015 peak. You're buying into a rental market that is running at record highs. That combination, stabilized purchase price plus strong rental yield, is genuinely hard to find in Manhattan right now. So what is the actual strategy here? It comes down to two things: patience and precision. Patience because you do not need to rush. The inventory is heavy, sellers are motivated, and the leverage is on your side. Precision because not every apartment in this building is the same opportunity. Some units are priced correctly and represent fair value. Others are still anchored in 2015 thinking and have a long way to come down. The key is knowing the difference, understanding which floors, which lines, and which specific units represent the best entry based on where the market is actually transacting today. That is not something you can figure out from a listing page. It requires going deep into the data. Here is the bigger point. What you just watched me do for Olympic Tower, going through a decade of transactions, mapping the active inventory, understanding the rental market, identifying where the real opportunities are, That is not something I put together in an afternoon. That is the kind of deep, meticulous work I offer. And that is exactly what I bring to the table. If you're seriously considering a purchase in Manhattan, whether it is Olympic Tower or somewhere else along this corridor, and you want someone who knows the data, there is a link in the description to this video to reach out. And don't forget to subscribe, because this is exactly what this channel is about. Not just what's for sale, but how the market actually thinks. I'm Svetlana Gryazeva, and I'll see you in the next one.